Two people, same street, same week. Both of them get the same phone call from the same mechanic. The car needs $900 of work, and without it, it doesn't start Monday morning. The first person hangs up, opens their banking app, and moves $900 from savings to checking. It stings. They're annoyed. And then they go make dinner because the problem is over. The second person hangs up and stares at the wall. There is no $900, but there is a job on Monday, and no car means no job. So they do what 12 million Americans do every year. They walk into a storefront with a sign in the window, and they borrow it. $15 for every 100, due in 2 weeks. That is an annual percentage rate of almost 400%, a number the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau confirms is standard, not predatory outlier. 2 weeks later, the money isn't there, so the loan rolls. Then it rolls again. 6 months later, that $900 repair has cost them somewhere north of $1,400, and they are still paying. Same street, same car, same repair. The only difference between those two people is $1,000 sitting in an account. Not a salary, not a career, not luck. $1,000. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to build it in 90 days, starting from zero, on an income that most financial advice completely ignores. And I'm going to start by telling you to ignore the most common piece of advice in personal finance. Every book, every podcast, every article says the same thing. Build 3 to 6 months of expenses, and on paper, they're right. But look at what that advice actually asks of you. If you live on $2,000 a month, 3 to 6 months means $6,000 to $12,000. $12,000. To someone counting quarters at the grocery store, that isn't a goal. That's a mountain with no path up it. And here's what actually happens when a person is handed an impossible number. They don't start slow. They don't start at all. The number is so far away that saving $50 feels pointless, so the $50 gets spent, and the cycle continues. The 3 to 6 month rule isn't wrong. It's just not for you. Not yet. It's a destination, and you need a first step. Your first step is $1,000, and that number is not random. Remember, nearly 6 in 10 Americans cannot cover a surprise $1,000 expense from savings. That is precisely why $1,000 is the line. Below it, every emergency turns into debt at 390%. Above it, an emergency turns into a bad afternoon. $1,000 is not wealth. $1,000 is a wall. The wall between you and the payday lender, between you and the $35 overdraft, between you and the credit card that turns $900 into $1,400. That is the whole goal. Not comfort, not retirement, just the wall. So let's build it in 90 days. Here's the math, and I'm going to be honest with you about it. $1,000 in 90 days is $333 a month. That is $11 a day. On $2,000 a month, $11 a day is real money. It is not pocket change, and I'm not going to pretend it is. That's why this doesn't work as a single heroic act of willpower. It works as 6 systems running at the same time, each one pulling a piece of the weight. Add them together and the 90 days becomes possible. Miss them and you're back to promising yourself you'll start next month. So here they are. System 1. Open the right account and make it hard to reach. Not your checking account. Not the savings account attached to your checking account, where transferring the money back takes 1 tap and 4 seconds. A separate account at a different bank, ideally a high-yield savings account. And here's the thing almost nobody realizes. A traditional savings account is currently paying around 0.4%. High-yield savings accounts at online banks are paying around 4%, roughly 10 times more, with the same federal insurance, the same liquidity, the same money. But interest is not the real reason you do this. The real reason is friction. When the money lives somewhere that takes a day to reach, your Thursday night self can't spend it. You have removed the option. Willpower is unreliable. Friction is not. System 2. Write down what an emergency is before you need one. This is where most funds die. Not from a catastrophe, from leakage, a concert, a birthday, a flight deal that expires tonight, a car registration you forgot about. None of those are emergencies, and every one of them feels urgent enough in the moment to justify a transfer. So write the definition on a piece of paper today while nothing is on fire and tape it where you'll see it. An emergency is an unplanned, unavoidable expense that threatens my shelter, my transportation, my health, or my job. That's it. Read it again. A car that won't start and you need it for work. Emergency. A tooth that's infected. Emergency. A rent shortfall after a lost shift. Emergency. Everything else is a budget problem wearing an emergency costume. Decisions you make in advance are always stronger than decisions you make under pressure. System 3. The grocery surplus. If you watched the last video, you already know where the first chunk of this money comes from. The average American spends around $78 a week per person on food. The method we walk through gets that down toward 20. Even if you only get halfway there, even if you land at $45 a week instead of $78, that is over $130 a month, and it did not come out of your rent, your gas, or your dignity. It came out of a habit. That's your foundation. Now let's find the rest. System 4. Automate the transfer on payday before your brain sees the money, not at the end of the month when you save whatever's left. There is never anything left. That's not a character flaw. That's how money works. It fills whatever space you give it. So on the day you get paid, before you've made a single decision, the transfer happens automatically. And split it. 2 smaller transfers hurt less than 1 big one. And if something unexpected hits mid-month, half the contribution is already safely across the wall. Vanguard's research has consistently found that automated savers accumulate close to double what manual savers do. Not because they earn more, because the decision is removed. Willpower fails on a Thursday. Automation doesn't. System 5, the negotiation hour. Block out 60 minutes this week, 1 hour, and make 3 phone calls. Call 1, your car insurance. Tell them you're shopping around and ask what they can do. Call 2, your phone carrier. Ask about the plan you're not on, the one they don't advertise, the one that costs $15 less for the same service. Call 3, your internet provider. Same script. And then, when you hang up, open your bank statement and read every line out loud. Every subscription you forgot you had. Every trial that converted. Every $5 a month that quietly leaves your account for something you haven't opened since March. Most people find between $40 and $80 a month in that hour. That is the single highest paid hour of work you will do all year. And unlike a side job, you never have to do it again. Whatever you find, it does not go into your life. It goes across the wall, automatically, on payday. System 6, every windfall, without exception. A tax refund, a birthday 20 from an aunt, a shift you didn't expect, something you sold, a rebate that finally came. In a normal month, these dollars arrive and evaporate because they feel like free money, and free money feels like permission. For the next 90 days, they are not free money. They are the fund. And for many working families, the biggest one is the tax refund. For people who qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit, that check can be thousands of dollars, and it lands once a year like a door opening. Most of it disappears within weeks. If your 90 days happen to overlap with that check, your 90 days just became 30. So let's put it all together and look at the actual 90-day schedule. Day 1. You open the account. Not tomorrow, not after the next paycheck. Today, on your phone, in about 11 minutes. And you transfer whatever you can into it, even if it's $10. $10 is not the point. The account existing is the point. Because a fund with $10 in it is a fund, and a fund with nothing in it is an intention. Day 2, you write the definition and tape it up. Day 3, you run the negotiation hour. That's the whole first week, and by the end of it, you have not yet saved a fortune, but you have built the machine. Month 1, the machine runs. Grocery surplus, around $130. The bills you cut, around $60. Your automated transfer, whatever you can hold, say $140. That's roughly $330, and it happened without you making a single decision after the first week. Month 2, the same, except now something has changed that nobody tells you about. At around $400, the fund stops being a chore and starts being a feeling. You check the balance and something in your chest unclenches. That feeling is the strongest motivator in this entire process, and it arrives right when most people would have quit. Month 3, the same again, plus every windfall you can find. Sell the thing in the closet, take the extra shift, redirect the refund, and somewhere in that 9th or 10th or 12th week, the number crosses 1,000. Now the honest part, because this channel does not sell fantasies. If your rent went up, if you have a child, if you're carrying debt with a payment due every month, $330 a month may not be there. That's real, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But listen carefully to the difference between two sentences. I can't do it in 90 days, and I can't do it. Those are not the same sentence. If you save $110 a month instead of $330, you have the $1,000 in 9 months instead of 3. 9 months is not failure. 9 months is arrival. The only true failure is the one where you never open the account, because the number felt too big, and the timeline felt too long, and so you kept nothing. And the mechanic called anyway. One more thing, and it matters. If you're carrying high-interest debt, build a smaller wall first, $500. Then attack the debt, then come back and finish the 1,000. Because without any wall at all, the next emergency goes straight back onto the card, and you'll be paying off the same emergency twice. So what does $1,000 actually buy? Not comfort. It buys the ability to say no. No to the payday lender at 400%. No to the $35 overdraft that arrives 3 times before you notice. No to borrowing from someone you'd rather not owe. And it buys something even better than that. The ability to say yes. Yes to the job across town that pays more, but needs a deposit first. Yes to walking away from a boss who knows you can't afford to leave. Financial calm is not a luxury item. It's the thing that lets you make decisions with your whole brain, instead of just the frightened part of it. So go back to those 2 people on the same street, with the same $900 repair. One of them ate dinner. The other one is still paying. The gap between them was never income. It was one account, opened on an ordinary Tuesday, with $10 in it. That account is available to you tonight. Now tell me in the comments, what's the emergency that would break you this month? The number you're quietly hoping doesn't come. Naming it is how it stops being a ghost. And if you want to know how to cut the bills you thought were fixed, the rent, the insurance, the phone, the ones nobody tells you are negotiable, that's the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it. This is the last dollar. Make yours count. Make yours.